the other great key new features in ClickEquations is our CQ Advisor, which includes more than a dozen best practices to help people have the system monitor for conditions that they need to take action on, they need to know about. And Google Analytics recently introduced GA Intelligence, which is sort of a similar feature. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how you guys thought about why people needed, that kind of suggestion, and then we'll get into how our best practices work.
I mean, the curse and the blessing of doing business on the web is there is data, right? It is both a curse and it's a blessing because it can be infinitely data driven. And I think one of the key powerful things about ClickEquations is that it is very, very good at looking at all the data and telling you what to do. And yet people will think it's overwhelming. Oh, I opened Google Analytics. Oh, I mean, always. So the core thought was, well, this is an algorithmically driven world anyway. Why can't we take some of these things that we already know and algorithms and trends and patterns in the data, and rather than having you to hunt and peg and dig, to take an 8-hour day of a person, they probably work for 3, and 2 hours and 45 minutes of that is just simply looking for data, looking for things. And so the core idea behind evolving to features like this, whether it's in ClickEquations or Google Analytics or maybe one day Omniture, is that you give people better starting points to do their jobs. That really is, I mean, that is the thing, is you come to the work in the morning and somebody's looked through your data. I mean, it's an intelligent algorithm. It's looked through your data and said, here are a cluster of anomalies. And don't spend the 2.5 hours that you would have hunting and pecking at the data. Here are starting points. It's not to tell you why things happen. That's how you make money, right? The thing you spend 15 minutes a day on is how you make money. And now, when you come in, you can spend all 3 hours on the process that contributes to making money. And the nice thing about, I think, ClickEquations, the filters that I saw, the really cute thing is, as you look through those filters, you can say, yes, 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 I want to do all of these things. These are all great things that I want to look at every day, and yet you don't have the time to look at every day. You can't find all of the things you need to do because you don't have the time to look at those. Now, CQ Advisor is going to do all that for you, give you these starting points. And the nice thing is they're very integrated with the rest of the reports. And it creates a insane to-do list. It'll tell you the work you're supposed to do. And you can look at across tables and ad groups and keywords so that you're a lot more productive at your job than you otherwise would be. There's no glory in being a reporting squirrel. Right? There's no glory in it. The glory comes from being an analysis ninja and actually taking action. And I think this accelerates that process.
Yeah, and that exactly what you talked about was the goal, is that most paid search managers know they want to do these things. I don't want a bad quality score. I want to avoid low click-through rate. But it's very hard, given the size of campaigns and the scale of change, to monitor those all the time. So now you can enable these best practices, and it's monitored for you. And as you say, directly in the workflow while you're doing your normal work, you get warned that, hey, there's some best practice violations, and you can quickly see what they are and get some recommendations of how to correct them.
And then the nice thing is, what is underappreciated about these kinds of small or big innovations is that you now have time to actually go do the kind of strategic analysis that you need to do, right? You don't need to spend doing monkey work all day long because these things will automate it. And I could not recommend this kind of a mental model more, regardless of what you're trying to do, but especially in search. I mean, if you just open ClickEquations and look at the metrics that are available to you, you'll understand half of them. You won't understand the other half of them. And now somebody's going to think all that through for you and just give you a plate of food, and you can chew it and see if it works well.
And it does two things, as you say. So number one, it guarantees that at least the basic right things are done in the account.
Yes.
And it's easy to miss them, and especially given the pace of change, and avoid them. The other thing, as you mentioned, is now, once those are out of the way, I go through the work list, I clear those. Now you can go do really value-added things that are innovative or algorithms can't find, that it's up to you to find and really improve your account.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter what kind of tool you use. If you decide to use something other than ClickEquations, tell the vendor to build these things. Because without it, you're not going to be as competitive as you want to be.
All right, so look for best practices in the new ClickEquations.